Happy days, and here I am. Yes, I'm on the road. Yes, I'm in the van. Yes, I'm parked on some kind of side curb that I shouldn't be because I needed to stop to make sure that I connected with the most profound, I'm going to say, family mind, business mind, and wise mind in the UK as a whole. But beaming in from Ireland, yes, it's our Extreme Set Mind series with Mr. Lee Tunney Ware, the most beautiful man with glasses besides myself in this country. Lee, thank you. And here we are. And you know what? I want to do something different today. And I am going to be careful now I tread because personal and business, some people keep them separate. But here's the thing. You always are happy to call out. I'm a dad with 11 children. I'm married to the beautiful Ross for 32 years. Although you give me 30 plus before the show. So it looks like Ross keeps the tabs on what's important in the numbers in life for sure. And we talked, and and here's the thing is that when you started out in life, there's a whole story that I'm going to hopefully be the one that brings that documentary to the surface. Because you have lived 4 lives in one in the first 20 years of your life. You did that. You experienced trauma at the level that very few experience in 10 lifetimes. But you didn't relive the trauma. You wrapped that trauma into a benefit into your life, into creating Lee Tunney Ware, who is probably one of the most profound philosophers I have met in my 20 years of traveling. I'm meeting philosophers all over the world. But what I want to go today, there is a whole engine behind Lee Tunney Ware, and that's called 11 Children and the Beautiful Ross. And I've had the pleasure of being amongst all that. And trust me, viewers, when you've been to Lee's house, one, you have to be very thick-skinned because you've got a bunch of 11 children that are happy to take the mick and have fun with you. It's a beautiful environment to be in. It really is. And why am I going here is, people often think a success comes from an individual person, but it's not. The success has come from the 11 children you've created, the beautiful wife, the husband that talks 80% of the time, and the wife that delivers 20% that supersedes your 80% any given time in your day. That's the history that's created this profound man that insists on having a Zoom call with his family behind him on the photo, while many other people have some kind of green screen, sorry, that dictates something else. I said to Deb said to me when she said, how important is your business? I said, if you asked me to stop business, I would stop in a second if it was important to you. And business is a big part of who I am. Let's talk about yourself, Lee, because I want to go here today. People are always pulling at your energy every day because you're a care and share person. You give away because you want people to be the best. How important is that backbone that we see behind you in that picture? How important is the backbone of your home, your family, and your wife?
It's everything to me, mate. I mean, that's the reason I get up in the morning. And I mean, we were sorry we stopped at like William. He was our last one, and I remember when Roz realised we couldn't have any more. Yeah, so I don't know, like that. Everything they can frustrate you. I mean, there's days you think, oh, but you do anything for them, anything, you know what I mean? And like, and they're good. I mean, like yesterday, I was out in the office yesterday, and we've got probably 3 acres of gardens, and they were out there. I mean, trimming, cutting, never had to ask. Lawns being cut, fences being fixed. And that's because a few of them had a day off. Tom sort of, right, you're on this. He was giving orders and cutting this down and doing that. And so they all pulled together. I mean, and I don't know, like, it's a very unusual family. Like, I mean, many of them play high-level sports.
Yeah.
Fought for their country, like in international karate. So I mean, I remember one time I said to Ross, they didn't lock the back door last night, and she went, "Who in their right mind would break into our house?" Yeah, because they're just like one unit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like, um, even Phoebe's boyfriend, and like Phoebe's like almost 18 now, and that. I mean, he said to me, oh, he's been going out for now a couple of years, and he said very intimidating first time coming here.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
I want to jump in on that because
yeah,
it was an intimidating feel because the size of the collective energy that's in your home.
mm,
It's a collaborated energy that's so intimidating because you feel everybody is completely connected to everybody and got each other's back.
mm,
You know, Lee, when you think about when, again, people often think that this is one individual that becomes successful. I mean,
oh no,
I've learned more from my two daughters about myself than
mm,
I've learned from any given mastermind group.
mm,
Albeit it's a different learning in a mastermind group. But you've got 11 apprentices in your home that
mm,
affect your 11 different businesses called your children. And then you have a wife that is a director alongside yourself within those 11 different businesses you have.
mm.
What do you feel is the learning you get on a daily basis from that size of business called home?
I mean, there's so many learnings. I'll give you an example. The other day, and bear in mind, I don't. We got a lot of property we rent out and stuff like that, and it's been a good. I grew up on the tools because I had dyslexia, didn't go to school much. So I grew up. I was block laying by the time I was block laying and brick laying by the time I was 14. I was plastering by the time I was 15. When I grew up on the tools, plumbing, tarmacking, because my dad had a general building firm and a tarmacking firm, and he'd done loads of different things. You know what I mean? You couldn't list the amount of types of business he's done. So I grew up, that was my apprenticeship. And I remember him saying, as long as you can write your own name and add up, that's all you need. So I used to beat myself up because of dyslexia. So a good example of the learning, and you think it'd be nothing. The other day we had to change a set of hinges on a double glazed window on the third floor. Yeah, it sounds quite high, but they're low ceilings. So we got the ladder up. Yeah, we got one in the flat. We took the window off, changed the hinge, put the window back in. Took us about 20 minutes. So there's myself and two of my sons. Put the ladder down, and it's against the wall. And Jake, who's what would he be, 16? Tom said to me, he's our eldest son. He said, I'll take the ladder down and lay it down. And Jake can put it in the shed. I said, oh no, we took it down. So it stood up against the wall at one height, not three extended. And I said, no, leave it there. I said, let Jake take it down. He said, I'm not sure he knows how to take it down. I said, well, this is where he learns. I said, just be there so it don't go through a window or something. So I said, but don't say nothing and don't stand there panicking. So he's learning how to teach without saying a word. And I said, oh, Jake, if you can grab the ladder, put it in the shed. So he had no problem with it. This is the first time he's actually took a ladder down on his own. Yeah. And Tom said to me, he said, why didn't you want me to lay it down? I said, where's the learning in that? And sometimes from the learn, because learning, a lot of people think, I think, is information.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is only like 20% if you're learning. Experience comes from touch, feel, as in weight,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like a bit like the ladder. From it, and that's where experience is, the way it emotionally feels like. And like, how can you build resilience if you've never put in a position where you have to like grit in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, let's say for example, fencing. Yeah, fencing, as in banging posts in. Yeah, they're banging a couple of posts in. Yeah, we got almost 50 acres. And when we go fencing, I mean, like when we have to re-fence, you could be banging 100 posts in. And that feel of the first post when you bang it in with a sledgehammer, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, yeah, ain't the same as when you've banged in like the 80th, the 90th, the 100th. Because to be able to get yourself to that place where where your body's screaming, or where you think you might have the intention, I'll do 100 posts, we get this fence today, and then you get to sort of 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you realise you've got more work left than you have day, and then you have to speed up to stay on target to what you said. Otherwise, if words mean nothing, why say them? So I've told my kids, if you've got to say it, then make it real. So, and not like, so the point of that is 4 of them, like, having that peace inside you when it gets hard and not quitting, especially in a digital age type of thing. Our kids used to do karate, and they went to the tryouts. You know, Kira Heaney said, "I'll bring them down to the tryouts in Galway. They love it. Be a great experience for them." And like 80 kids, like they pick 80 kids from the country to fight for their country in an international like karate. And we went down, and four of our kids got picked. Now they didn't know the names. What's your name? Josh yet? Over there. Jake over there, Poppy over there. Like, they didn't know because they're all in different classes. And the sense I was amazed that 4 kids out of the 80 came from the same family. And he said, I didn't pick.
Do you think, Lee, that, you know, I want to talk about this in 2 layers here.
Yeah.
Of course. So the layer that you inherited from your time with your dad was a layer of stamina that, again, very few will experience in a lifetime, 10 lifetimes. And I don't wish to just scan that because it's a fact. But you've reversed that negativity of what that stamina had to be for you. And we can follow on our parents, or we can take what we learned and take it to our family, where they become positive experiences from your past. How much effort do you feel that it took you to sort of not outplay what you experienced, and for your 11 children to have, because when they get picked at that rate from one family means that someone in that family has taken an intense learning and made it into something very special for everybody, including that person called Lee Tunney Ware. You know, what was that transition? You know, how much did you have to focus, say, do you know what, I'm going to be different in this life?
Yeah, I wouldn't know, I suppose. And that's, I get the question. And that it's a very rational, logical question. And there's a piece that I think isn't written about or spoken about. And I don't know what name that piece is. See, it's sort of, when something's done to you, or when, I suppose, when the world I grew up in, and bear in mind I'm at Pity Pie, I don't know, yeah. Even my auntie, only like a couple of years ago, something come up, and we were near Brighton, and we were going past. We were in like our car. I think Ross was driving, and my aunt Manny was with me. And there's only about 3 or 4 years between us, and we drove past the property. I said, I remember, and this property's like 5 floors high, plus a roof. And I said, I remember Dad putting me over the front of that building on a rope.
Wow.
Yeah. So he put me off of the roof, sitting on a board with 4 holes in it, with the rope coming up to one rope. And that rope was round the chimney stack, and he lowered me down with a pot of paint. Like, they lowered another rope down to me so I could paint the front of the building. I was about 12 or 13 years old.
Wow.
And I never questioned that. But I also know.
Would you say you couldn't question that?
Well, and that would be the right answer. Couldn't question it. So I got very comfortable, because knowing there was the job needs doing. Yeah, whether I was scared going over the side or whatever, I got to a point where those feelings of my body going, meant nothing to me.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. So some might call it self-control, where those feelings I could manage at, say, 12 or 13 and 14, thought nothing of it. My heart started racing. Yeah, it weren't, oh my God. It would be my heart's racing.
Yeah.
No consequence to that. My fingers feel tingly, or I feel like, yeah, that would be my fingers feel tingly and my heart's racing.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be, oh my God, oh my God. I wouldn't put it into language of thought. I would just be aware, but because I knew that if I said, like, basically, I can't because get on it, get down, do it. The job needs doing, and there'll be no. So you'd
Can I come in?
imagine, yeah, and
Can I
that's the
come
bit
in?
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you'd imagine that piece would be very controlling, but
Yeah.
it was actually for me very rewarding. From now, don't hear it the wrong way, but the hardest bit for me was be able to get the same result for my kids, but not under the same pressure.
Oh, wow. That has just really hit an emotional valve for me
Mm,
because I see the intensity of that technical emotion. Because, I know your backstory. Our viewers don't.
mm,
And trust me, World War II was a reality for this man in his childhood. And I don't go no further because Lee, I don't know how much of a rope
mm.
that you can give me here to push.
No,
But
I'm not. I'm not. There's nothing. I'm open book, really, Paul. I'm a total open book. And I don't talk about it. Somebody asks about it, then I'll talk about it. But and I don't compare,
well,
as
let,
in,
let me jump in because you're going to water this down because that's
yeah.
what you do. You always water down the intensity of your childhood. And I want to just let this man experience trauma in his childhood from from dad in a way that very few children can live through. And the result of that is this man has got 11 children in his home that are profoundly benefiting from the way that he's turned this round. And there are hundreds, maybe thousands of business people that are benefiting from the wisdom that come from the trauma that you don't traumatize out. You don't allow people to bring their armor, trauma, or drama into any conversation because you understand the pity of that. And
But it's not.
that's what
It's
makes you
not
so
the.
unique.
And that word pity, I understand. See, and not to correct you because it's just language, yeah. So I realise that it's just words, yeah. But I get those words describe a feeling or a taste towards when this happened to me. Oh my God, yeah. So that's like the empathy. That's the compassion within us. But if we stay in that place, see, we get anchored within somebody else's trauma, which means,
Wow.
oh my God, and then we assess and we cannot move the person out. So in that, you cannot allow your sympathy or empathy or compassion become the shackle to make you the victim of other people's trauma.
Wow. Oh my God, I
So
almost swore that is so beautiful.
because you can empathize, but if they're still in the trauma, unprocessed data, then they're still being traumatized maybe 10 years after. Like I say, in post-traumatic stress, they're still reliving it in their autonomic sympathetic nervous system or within their imagination. So the experience, the trauma, the negativity might have only happened for 5 minutes. When it's loaded up like every day, but let's say it's 5 minutes and there's like 5 minutes a day. But that 5 minutes can last 50 years. So when we, like back to that pity word, when we pity what happens to them, we have that compassion, that empathy, that, oh my God, we internalize. So it's a bit like you stub your toe on the end of the bed, not go, yeah, we can feel it because that's empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't go, yeah, go on, that was good. That'll teach you a lesson. You can do it that way. But the point is, when I don't allow trauma, drama, or armor get in the way, and it's not because I don't have that empathy or sympathy. I have the realization from my own life, you can't. I learned, this is the way I process it in my head. So you ate breakfast yesterday morning, Paul, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is it still with you?
No.
Right. In my world, I live, yeah, it's my body, my mind, my emotions. Every part of my existence is mine. Not mine as in an ownership. It's me. It's not as in this is my pet. This body is me. It's not my body. It's me. My emotions is me. My thoughts are me. My
Mm-hmm.
imagination is me. Every part of my existence is me, not it's mine. It's
Yeah.
me. So whatever happens to me, whether I like it, into my world, that's emotion. Whether it makes me feel unhappy, emotion. Whether it confuses me in my consciousness, left brain. Whether it makes me see videos or images on the screen of my mind, right brain. Whether it makes me feel sick or stressed or under pressure, biology, or whether it takes away my essence, my pride, my chi, my spirit energy, when the trauma, whatever I've processed, had to experience that day, digest that day, it can't come with me to the next day because
Wow.
otherwise I'm stacking it up, stacking it up, stacking it up. So I look at experiences in a 24-hour cycle. If I eat breakfast this morning, it ain't going to be with me tomorrow morning. If I have to digest or eat something today that I don't like, it ain't going to be part of me tomorrow because I can't have my tomorrow.
Oh, wow. That's massive. Lee, just on this last portion here, at what age do you feel in your life did you understand and were able to measure the process of fear, resistance, um, being in charge of your own emotions? At what point do you feel this? Well, what age do you feel in your life did you feel you had to do that in order for sanity?
Well, yeah, I don't think I had to do it. As in, I had that realization. I can honestly say, with every part of my existence, that it's true as anything. If there is a God and God will stand in there and say, yeah, it's true. I got past fear at about 8 years old. Fear meant nothing to me. It weren't even like a breeze on my skin. I mean,
And that,
the more stressed it got, as in the more threatening it got, the calmer I got. Because I realized that if I go into fear, I'm losing control. And if I go into fear, I'm leaving the moment to go into the future because fear to me is biological. It's a threat to the biology, it's not psychological. And as soon as my body went out of sync, I lost myself.
oh,
So the faster my heart got, yeah, and it would be banging in your ears, and you'd be more there because your whole body would be reacting to what it knew was coming.
and that was from Dad, yeah.
Yeah. So I learned that I had a moment that I called it micro moments or nano moments. In those micro moments, if my heart's going, and that's what my focus is, and I'm now internal and the threat's external,
Yeah.
it's a reaction to what my body knows is coming. So my power lived in a nano or micro moment, a
Wow.
second, fraction of a second. Yeah. And it was what I said or did then that would change the whole outcome. But if I was stressed or I had that poor me voice or that the pity voice, that like screaming your voice without screaming, if I had that, I knew I was going to get hurt more. So I had to learn to control my
Wow.
physiology and my tonality. And it's all the time I stayed calm, I could balance somebody else's state. Now I can raise my voice, I can put that energy there, or I can soften it. But I choose to do that. Even though when very rarely I do, but I've got that. Yeah. But I'm able to control's the wrong word. I'm able to process it very
Mhm.
quickly. There's the odd time where and I can't, and this might be a thing, I can't lose my temper. I mean,
Yeah.
some would say I've lost my temper. I can't. I feel that if I lost my temper, I'll go through walls. I'd
Yeah.
turn trucks over. Yeah, my energy's strong enough just on a normal day. If I went into that aggression or that, I would be scared of what I would do with it.
Yeah.
So I've always
Wow.
managed. There's bits where I've had to, where I mean, I grew up this accent in the west of Ireland. I was used to being picked on by sort of 6, 8, 10, 12 time. and it wouldn't bother me. And that's what would freak them out. The more threatening they got, I was here, do yourself a favour, guys. Because I met Goliath every day. So they would threaten me, and this is where I learned, and I know we're over time. This piece for me, you got to be 1,000 lifetimes and not learn it. And I learned it, and I learned it at such a young age, and it enabled me to navigate my life. I wish I knew now. I wish I knew then what I know now, the way I've put it together. But this piece, oh man, I mean, you could have a million experiences and not find it. And I don't know how to I can put it into words, but whether I do it justice. The ability to, like, when somebody says something to you, like does something to you, or is going to do something to you, they're always going into your future. They're not actually, now if they're hitting you, they're doing it to you in the now. But most people don't control you that way. They control you by telling you what they're going to do to you in the future, or how they're going to hurt you in the future. They go into, that's all right. And I've got a tenant here who's done it to me once. He done it to me about 2 years ago. That's all right, I'll get onto the council. I said, it's free country, get onto the council. He said, do you do motivational speaking, don't you? And I said, yeah. And he said, let me know when you're speaking next. He said, I'd like to be there, tell everybody what you like. I said, you're welcome. I said, you're welcome to do that. I said, believe it or not, I said, I'm running a group session tonight. I'll be telling them this exact story, and I'll be telling them the learning from it. I said, there's no way you can put a leash on me on my future. I said, if you can tell me what I've done to you, or if you can tell me I've let you down as in what I haven't done, if you can tell me what I've said to you that's upset you, or what I haven't said that's upset you, so if you can tell me that, I said, you can hold me responsible for that. I will not be held responsible for what you imagine about me. I said, that's all you. I said, I know in this time, I said, I've done nothing to you, and I haven't let you down. And I said, there's nothing in me that would do that. I said, but threatening me with the council, perhaps, which is like a government body, I said, or threatening to come into my audience and talk about me, I said, they're just threats. I said, nobody takes my future from me. Nobody utilizes my compassion, my reputation, against me. I said, the reason I have my reputation, I said, because nobody controls my future, or me. So controlling me is in the present. So the bit I learned from my dad without any lessons was how to, one, in the moment, nano or micro. I mean, I'm not on a second, a fraction of a second, not where you take control of another, where you take control of yourself, and you create the stimulus then that either neutralizes. I was watching a video the other day. You can put oil on water. There's a certain type of oil, not contaminated oil, but like an oil on water, a pond or a lake where it's got the ripples on it. Puts a tiny bit of oil on it, and all the ripples go. That part where the oil is, no ripples. It'll be all ripples around it, but not on it. I found that very interesting, because that would be the piece. What normally happens, somebody says something, and then you go into the future, and that's where fear is. So I learned, when somebody says something to me, all right, we're moving out present, and we're going into the future. Well, I'm present, so I don't go to the future. Or if they can't get you in the future, they can't change, and well, I'll tell Paul, or I'll tell this, or I'll tell that. Fair enough. Free country. If they knew what you've done, how they go into your past? I know a lot about you, and I can tell them this, and I can tell them that. Fair enough. So they're trying to grab hold of something, either a mistake you've made, or where you lost control in the past, and they want to take that to control you. Anybody that does that, where they're either using your reputation, or they're looking to destroy you in some way. It could be, I'll tell John, I can tell Mary, and then you got the board, a bit like what Apple done to Steve Jobs. He built the company, and then they ripped this company from him. And to imply, I mean, the ego, the arrogance of them, that they knew more than the person who built the company. That they had more experience, more understanding. Best thing that ever happened to him, really, because he went out and developed Pixar. or brought that to a high level. But at the same time, he learned skills and come back into Apple, made it like one of the biggest companies in the world. So the last bit I'll leave you with, the piece that I learned was always stay in the breath you're in.
Wow. Wow.
And I
Mr.
don't know how
Tunney
to make
Ware.
it any simpler.
Wow. This has been a beautiful, beautiful deep dive. And here we are, and listen, if you think this is profound, you wait until we do the Lee Tunney life story. It's going to happen because this man has got a million golden nuggets in everything that comes out of every portion of his life from birth up to present time. Lee, this has been such a fantastic share. Thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome, my friend.
time, your efforts, your life, your family, Ross, and everything else that goes on around you, and all those people you are constantly helping, building in the business world.
In a moment, I'm going into my kitchen. It's full of balloons because it's Olivia's birthday. She's, I've got to get this right. Is it? Yeah, she's 13. I was going to say 14. I'm dyslexia. I'll get confused with it. But once she's opened all the presents up, the dogs will be popping the balloons most likely. They'll be popping them and going like that. What was that? And then they'll be jumping for enough. What was that? And people can be a bit like that. They have that shock in the moment. Then it's what was that? And they keep popping the same balloon.
Wow.
Yeah, pause. Like a bit of utilising the dog. I've seen them do it. They pop up, but and then they see another balloon. They lose like, what was that? And they keep getting that shock. What happens to us is we get that shock, and if we get those shocks over and over again, however the gap, that could be every day, several times a day, yeah, several times a week, once a week, every week. Our body runs at a different frequency. So when you take that into an addiction, like cocaine or anything, drugs or different things like that, or addictive habits, is the body is looking for a dopamine hit in a roundabout way, whether that's through, do you think I've done a good job? It's not doing, oh, yeah, you've done a brilliant job. That's where the dopamine hit comes. The awareness should be, why do I keep asking for external validation? Not Paul hasn't given it to me. So the point is, in that shock moment with the balloon, the dog hasn't got the sense to realise, yeah, but now the ball or the balloon becomes part of the dopamine thing. So now it's she wants to pop as many balloons as she can. You've got to stop popping balloons in your own life.
Lee Tunney Ware, it's been beautiful. Have an amazing family birthday, and I will catch you next week, my friend. And bye for now, and boom!
Boom.